The area of a rectangle is 12x to the 4 plus 8x squared. The base is the GCF of the area. What is the perimeter? What is the perimeter of x equals 2? How much will it cost to paint the rectangle if paint costs $3 per meter squared? And how much will it cost to build a fence around the rectangle if it costs $6 per meter? Okay, so let's draw a diagram so we can see this represented visually. It doesn't have to be a perfect rectangle here. All right. Okay, so we've got the area is 12x to the 4 plus 8x squared. And we also know that the base is the GCF of the area. Okay, so first things first, when we're trying to find the GCF of the area, or this polynomial here, we have to find the GCF of the coefficients, right? So what are my coefficients here? Well, I've got 12 and I've got 8. So the smallest number here is 8. Let's see if the other numbers, or in this case only one number, is divisible by that smallest number. 12 is not divisible by 8. So we have to find the factors for 8. We've got 1 and 8, and we've also got 2 and 4. These are my factors of 8. We already said that 8 is not the GCF. So let's try 4. Are the other numbers, or in this case only one number, 12, is 12 divisible by 4? It is. So 4 is the GCF of the coefficients. So my GCF is going to start with the number 4. Now we're going to look for the variable that's present in every term, right? In this case, we have x. And what's the smallest exponent of x? It is 2. That is the GCF of the area. That is the base. Now, we know this is the base. We want now to find what the height is, right? And height is just going to be the other factor. So how do I find the other factor? Well, I know that base times height is equal to area. And I know what base is, I know what area is. So to isolate my height, I'm just going to divide both sides by b. And I'll just plug in a and b in this case. So we know h is going to be equal to area, which is 12x to the 4 plus 8x squared, divided by my base, which is 4x squared. Now, the first thing we're going to do when we're dividing by a monomial is split up this fraction. We're going to get 12x to the 4 over 4x squared plus 8x squared over 4x squared. We're going to divide the coefficients and subtract the exponents of the common variable. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. We have x on top, x on bottom. 4 minus 2 is 2. Plus 8 divided by 4 is 2. X squared divided by x squared, something divided by itself, is just 1. So this is 2 times 1, but we don't have to write the times 1 because 2 times 1 is just 2. So this is the height. Great. So question 1 is asking, what is the perimeter, right? And luckily now we have the base and we have the height. So to find the perimeter of a rectangle, we can do base plus height, or something else you can do is just write 2 times base plus 2 times the height. Okay? And we know what base is. Base is 4x squared. And we know what the height is. It is 3x squared plus 2, right? We just found it over here. And now we can carry out that multiplication by distributing the 2's. We're going to get 8x squared plus 6x squared plus 4. And in this case, I have two like terms. I have the 8x squared and the 6x squared. So we can combine them by adding the coefficients together, which gives me 14x squared plus 4. And that is the perimeter. Now, let me, right here, A. Okay. Now, B. What is the perimeter if x is equal to 2? So we know what the polynomial that represents the perimeter is. So all we have to do is take this 2 and replace all my x's with it, right? So we have 14. Before it was 14 times x squared. Now it's 14 times 2 squared. And we're going to add 4. And that's going to give me 14 times 4 plus 4. 14 times 4 is 56, plus 4 is 60 meters. Okay? And that's the answer for B. Now for C, how much will it cost to paint the rectangle if paint costs $3 per meter squared? So in this case, we have to find what the area is. And we know the area is 12x to the 4 plus 8x squared. And we know x is equal to 2. So similarly to question B, all we're going to do is replace all of my x's with 2. That's going to give me 12 times 2 to the 4 plus 8 times 2 squared. So take your calculator out at this point and try this for yourself. You should get 224 meters squared. Okay. That's not your final answer though, because the question is asking how much will it cost to paint the rectangle if paint costs $3 per meter squared. And this is the area, so we just have to take 3, which is the cost per meter squared, and multiply it by the amount of meters squared we have, right? So 3 times 224 is $672. Now this is the answer for C, okay? And last but not least here, we want to know how much will it cost to build a fence around the rectangle if it costs $6 per meter. And we know the perimeter is 60 meters. So just like for question D, we just take the cost per meter, which is 6, and we multiply it by the amount of meters we have, which is 60. And that's going to give me $360. And that's the answer for question D.